1995. The conduct of an extracurricular activity by a student and his teacher. Let's begin the retelling. 1943. Sweden. The city of Malmö. The main character of this picture is 15-year-old Stick, who moved here from Stockholm 2 years ago. He is already settled in the new class and attracted the attention of his housemate Lisbeth. A new class teacher named Viola, who has also moved here from Stockholm, comes to their class. After class, Viola tells Stig that she has seen all the pranks the teenagers have been up to and asks him to read a note passed by the students in the classroom. Stig is shy about voicing the smutty information, but Viola reads it herself, smiling, and tells him that the children's ideas about male potency are greatly exaggerated. She then makes him wipe the board clean of a dead fly. While doing this, Stick considers Viola and she notices it. Stick returns home and hurries to work at the movie theater. Upon reaching the landing, he meets Lisbeth and talks to her. At work, he is told off for being late. Lisbeth shares with her friend that she likes Stick. For his sake, she even imitates a Stockholm accent on a radio program. At work, Stick meets his brother named Siggy, who wants to serve on a submarine but has not yet passed the tests. While spending the night at home, the brother talks about his plans to have a boxing rematch with the powerful Arvid. After school, Stick tries to show his teacher his affection by staying alone with her and reading her dictionary. He also finds out where she lives. After a while, Viola reciprocates his affection and they kiss for the first time in school. After class, he dares to come to her house, where the teacher begins to teach him different things. She warns him to be careful as her husband might see them. One day, Viola's husband, Hell, notices the boy in the apartment but assumes that he comes for extra lessons. Stig and Viola's relationship develops and they begin to get to know each other better. After work, Stig goes to watch his brother's boxing match, which he wins. We learn that Stig has the keys to Viola's apartment. One day, Stig arrives with flowers to wish her a happy birthday, but then Viola's husband shows up, having canceled his trip. He again does not pay attention to the boy's presence and showed him his invention, an alcoholic cuckoo. Viola and Stick continue their relationship and they become buddies with Hell. In one of their conversations, Hell talks about his hatred of unnatural tights materials, holding a glass in his hand at all times. But one day, when he sees the Stig in his bathrobe, he realizes what's going on. Hell isn't mad at the guy, however, recognizing that his marriage has been cracking at the seams for a long time since he himself cheated on Viola a week after the wedding. Stig receives a letter from his brother with a riddle in which the word Volf is encrypted. Now Stig and Hell even spend time together, such as playing soccer. The next day, Lisbeth prepares everything for her first time with Stig. The family celebrates her mother's birthday with the neighbors, from where Lisbeth takes Stig to her apartment and showed him the Eve costume. But Stig leaves her with nothing, causing her to blush with embarrassment. Stig asks Viola the reason for the breakdown of her marriage. She says that Hell was once a breath of fresh air for her, but now she just feels sorry for him, believing that if they break up, he will sink even lower. In the evening, Stick chats with Hell and learns that he's having trouble selling tights, pouring his grief over gin. Viola beckons Stig into the bedroom, but he decides to go home. The next day, Viola sets up a time for him when her husband won't be home, but Stig meets Lisbeth in the girls' locker room. He hides in a sports horse and, after passing a note to the girl, asks her to look in there. Having done so, Lisbeth says she's happy. Stig hears news of the missing Volf submarine and realizes that his brother encrypted the name of the boat in the letter. Later, Stig receives a telegram about the missing boat his brother served on. Stig doesn't inform his parents, but his mom finds out and panics. Viola goes to a session at the movie theater where Lisbeth is also sitting, checking on Stig, and catches him with Viola. Lisbeth is unwilling to listen to an explanation. Viola gets drunk at home because Stig has lost interest in her, causes a scandal, and forces him to develop the latest consolation. Viola decides to keep Stig for a second year, not to see him in her class again, and informs him of this. Stig threatens to tell everyone about their affair, but Viola thinks no one will believe him. During class, he overturns the teacher's desk. The principal informs Stig that he is being retained for a second year, and Stig returns to the classroom, finds the magazine, from which he tears out the page with his grades. He goes to Viola's house, where he meets a drunken Hel, and after talking to Viola, realizes that she can break his life, but she keeps quiet, and Stig gets angry and leaves. Stig is informed at school of his brother's death. Lisbeth makes a new suitor at school. In a movie theater, Stig tearfully watches a reel about the sinking of the submarine Volf, which his brother was on. Later, he and his family attend the funeral of his brother and other sailors. Returning home on the train, his mother tells Stig that she feels something is wrong with him, realizing that it has more to do with his brother's death and problems at school. He replies that he will tell her about it sometime later. While handing out certificates at the Church of Students, Stig shows everyone his dignity by exposing Viola. He then breaks into Viola's classroom and steals all of her dictionaries from her desk.